This week on The Breakout,
A Golden Dome exclusive.
and news from DSEI.
Oh yeah, it's DSEI.
No, nobody calls it DSEI.
It's DSEI.
Welcome to The Breakout. I'm Aaron Mehta.
And I'm Ferran.
Lee, we're going to start this week talking about Golden Dome, and specifically a story that Teresa Hitchens, our space reporter, has put up as we record this. Put up.
Hot off the presses story, yeah.
This involves the space-based interceptors portion of Golden Dome.
That's literally taking out a missile from space, as we understand it.
As we understand it, and that's the thing is, while there's certainly, you can go back to Star Wars and Reagan-era ideas of some of this stuff, we don't really know what's being capable right now, what's being investigated in terms of what an SBI would actually look like. Industry certainly wants to know because they want to cash in on this. And part of Teresa's reporting is that cashing in might not come with the same level of dollars that they're expecting.
It's a very interesting thing. What T got our hands on was a proposal from the Pentagon to essentially create a prize structure for space-based interceptors, where the government will give some funds to companies to develop prototypes and then to see how they work, and then they'll have a prize pool of a few $100 million to pay out to the winners of those competitions at various stages. The thing is, the initial injection of money is not very big, like $100,000 or something like that. And the prize pool, even though that sounds quite big at a few $100 million, for a project like a space-based interceptor, that could be not nearly what it's going to cost originally. And there's going to be a big contract later.
Right, but anything that gets into space or is supposed to go into space is inherently expensive. And I think what caught a lot of attention when Teresa talked to analysts was this initial pool of a couple $100,000 here or there to basically get you started. That probably doesn't cover the cost of submitting for something like this to begin with.
Yeah, so it's going to be a big bet for anyone who wants to get in on this race, and that raises questions about who can afford to take such a bet. If you're a smaller company, you might be betting the farm on this if you want to go into it. Maybe bigger firms can survive it a little bit better. Yeah. It's kind of unclear where this is going to go. We're still waiting on the formal, proposal to come out. So this was just a draft proposal that we're reporting on now. What caught your eye was the timing of this. It said a big production contract is probably expected in 2028.
Yeah, and that's notable because Trump has said in the Oval Office when he announced Golden Dome officially, he wants this to be a 3-year project. Well, 3 years is 2028. The assumption had been 3 years to at least kind of successful testing. So this raises some questions about what that timeline looks like.
Right.
Now, again, a lot of unknowns, the known unknowns about Golden Dome. We actually have a new video series out on Golden Dome right now, which fills a lot of those in. I encourage people to go check that out. But otherwise, of course, we'll be tracking this as news comes available.
And then after the break, we're going to go to Europe for the top stories out of DSEI.
It's just DSEI.
It's going to happen. DSEI's the thing. It's going to be a thing.
Stop making fetch happen.
At Leonardo DRS, our agility helps bring the ability to dominate in any scenario, on any platform, helping our warfighters accomplish the mission and get home safely. Leonardo DRS, our agility, your advantage.
All right, so Lee, we're going to time travel back to last week and talk about DSEI. DSEI, we don't know why Lee insists on calling it DSEI, but he does. We're letting him have this one. DSEI, big European defense show in the UK. There are a couple of stories I wanted to highlight.
Right. The first one was our Tim Martin, who was leading our coverage, spoke to the Rheinmetall CEO.
Yeah, and the CEO said, interesting, he said, what was the phrase that he used?
Small boy thinking.
Small boy
thinking.
Yeah, we don't want to have small boy thinking. The point being, Rheinmetall, which has always been Europe's or Germany's big defense firm, is growing. And he's saying, look, in an era of Europeanization and growing budgets, we should not be treating ourselves or be thought of as secondary to American companies.
Right. You have so much pressure from the White House in the U.S. on Europe to increase their production. It seems like Rheinmetall sees an opportunity to grow in different ways. They recently became a naval company as well.
Yeah, they just had an acquisition giving them a naval arm for the first time. And again, the CEO is looking at this and saying, hey, we are the big guy here. We should be treated as such.
So this all leads me to think there has to be some long German word for small boy thinking, but who knows?
That seems right. Okay, so the other big story that we want to talk about was out of the UK with something called Project Octopus.
Project Octopus, such a Bondish name for something coming out of the UK, of course. This is for counter-drone interceptors. This is a big investment in Ukrainian-designed counter-drone interceptors. Comes at a particularly interesting time.
Yeah, what was notable was this actually obviously was in the works for a while. You don't announce something like this just day of. But it was the same day that 19 Russian drones flew through Polish airspace. Now, the Russians have said, hey, this was an accident. The Poles and others in NATO have said, 19 drones don't fly through airspace. And they went far into Polish airspace by accident. So we've seen in Ukraine, obviously, the swarms of drones that Russia has used, that they need some sort of counter drone on drone violence seems like
Oh, yeah.
a solution. And the UK seems ready to tap into that.
And certainly beyond DSEI, counter-drone technology is a big deal, something that we expect to hear a lot about next week.
Yeah, so next week is the annual Air and Space Forces Association's conference in
Where is it? National Harbor?
Scenic National Harbor.
Oh, right.
We have
okay.
rules here,
Yeah.
Lee. We won't have a breakout episode next week because we'll be at the conference. We will have daily videos coming out of that show, wrapping up each day. So please keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, make sure you like and subscribe to The Breakout to get us delivered directly to you.
And if you listen to podcasts, search for us on your favorite podcasting platform. We'll see you there.
I'm Aaron Mehta.
And I'm Lee Ferran.
Thanks for watching.